Hey guys! So today I am going to be editing one of my subscribers' Common App essay. And if you want me to edit your Common App essay, make sure that you fill out the form below, okay? So let's get started. Before we actually get started, this subscriber decided to send me two different copies. So I'm going to leave it on the screen, read both of the essays, and then I'll let you know what my thoughts are. I'm just going to put out a disclaimer. These are all my personal opinion. I am not a English tutor or a English teacher or any license regarding Common App essays. I'm just a random person that has been through the Common App essay process and do have some experience and has read a lot of Common App essays from my friends or from people who actually got into prestigious Ivy League schools. So check out my playlist if you want with my interviews. But yeah, so take everything with a grain of salt, and this is just my own personal opinion. And when I finished reading both of the essays, which by the way are really good essays. I am very, very impressed. I love it. And I'll explain more of it later. But for right now, I actually prefer the first essay over the second essay. So let's talk about the first essay first. The first essay, I would say, a bigger picture of who you are as a student or as a person, your environment. And I love that you not only showed your personal resilience, but also your academic passion and your ambition as well. And I think overall, it was just like a very nice theme of the symbolism of your washroom. So that's the reason why I chose the first essay. The second essay is actually pretty good too with the clicking, but the thing is, it's essentially the same story, but you chose a different way of delivering it, which is totally fine. Awesome, actually. Love that you're writing different drafts. I did that as well when I was in your shoes last year. But I think the clicking analogy kind of takes away the whole washroom symbolism because there's only 650 words. It's kind of hard to juggle between the clicking analogy and also the washroom symbolism. So it's best if you focus on just one. Also, I think the most important reason why I chose the first essay over the second essay is that the second essay also kind of lacked some detail or a example, which the first essay actually did of why are you like why are you working? Like more of where did the ambition come from? Like, what are you working for? What is your drive? What is your motivation? The first essay shows it perfectly with the example that you want to prove, to your parents that they're wrong, and also that you are just very, very passionate about science or whatever you are doing. Versus the second essay, which is more of, oh, I am a hard worker, but I don't really know the background story per se, and also just what is your ultimate goal or why are you working so hard, which is something that the admission officer would be looking for. But yeah, so that's my take on which essay I prefer, and that's the first essay. Before we actually dive into the deep analysis or just my thoughts on your strength and where to improve, or just food for thought, here are just some, grammar, spelling, whatever. You could check it yourself too, but I just did it really quickly. So yeah. For the strength, I really appreciate that you were being very vulnerable to the admission officers or just to me or just to anyone who's editing this essay about your own personal life, your personal story. And you brought up, the cultural context about in what type of, society you lived in and your background, the challenges that you faced. So this adds a, depth and uniqueness to your own narrative, which shows that you have grown in the face of adversity. And the second part I really liked about is, of course, your character trait, and that is resilience and resourcefulness. A lot of universities, I don't know what uni that the subscriber is applying to, but a lot of universities appreciate or actually look or find the traits of resilience and resourcefulness from students. And that is the reason why I really like your essay, which highlights this characteristic of yours. And you conveyed resilience really, really well how you transformed the bathroom into your workspace. And it's a very creative and memorable metaphor for your perseverance. And I think it's something that the admission offers can remember deeply. Just suggestions. I'm going to ask questions to, just food for thought. You don't have to, take it if you think that your version is better. This is just a outside opinion or a second opinion for all you want. So, okay. So, reading it over again, I think that you could technically just remove the first paragraph. So, the whole quotation and Hindi about coming down quickly and helping your professor's food. I know that you're trying to portray the patriarchal society that you live in, or just you really need to decide what your main idea or main theme of this essay is, because your essay should only focus on one thing. There's word limit, and also if you spread or diversify, they're going to be very, very weak. So if your theme or the main idea of this entire essay is to portray how resilient you are and you have perseverance, I don't think the first paragraph contributes to this theme or this main idea. So if I were you, I would delete the first paragraph. Okay, so moving on, I like the second paragraph. So it's really nice. I like it. You immediately introduce the analogy with the washroom, and I really like the style of writing. And also I tweaked a little bit, so you could use my suggestions if you want. And the third paragraph. Okay, so the third paragraph. This paragraph you're trying. It's essentially as a setup for showing how resilient you are, like despite your burden, or I'm sorry, despite the adversity that you have, been through, that, you were able to be resilient, which is awesome. But I think you need to show me that rather than telling me, because you dedicated, I don't know how many words this is. Let's see. Okay, 179. So that's quite a lot of words. And it's just telling me in different ways how you aren't treated like your brothers, and you don't have the same freedom as your brother either. Which I think if you shorten or summarize this into maybe 2 to 3 sentences, I think the admission officers will kind of understand or kind of get the hang of it. And then once you move on to the examples, you could further reinforce it. So now moving on to the next paragraph. That other people share about. A lot of people talk about the environment and the challenges that they have faced through. And I know it is very admirable how you are able to overcome these challenges despite, all of these various factors telling you every single day that, oh, you can't do it. That is something that you should, add into your essay, but I don't think it should be the main or like the main focus or the main reason as to why you're so resilient. I think the admission officers want to know more of, the future, your future rather than your past, if that makes sense. That, what are you passionate about? What do what did you learn from this, experience? And that is the reason why I think you need to emphasize or dedicate more words into your experience with Professor Farshid. Sorry if I butchered that name wrong. Farshid Safat from University of Bradford. Talk about boy versus girl, like when you were working at the university, were you treated equal with the other guys in your group, or was there also, gender inequality, or, whatever it is. So you can also talk about that, about, comparing and contrasting that, oh, the environment that that I'm currently at, it's very heavily viewed upon, guys over girls. But when I worked for the professor, it was, didn't matter like what gender you are, as long as you showed your passion and your knowledge and you're able to lead, that's what makes you you. And that's the reason why you want to work for your future and, work for your future and, get into a good university. And I think that is a huge motivational factor that the admission officer would read and be like, damn, okay, rather than just focusing on the past. And that's just my take. But yeah. So moving on. Okay, international. Okay, so now you went back to talking about international students on various projects and research. It's very, very vague. I think you need to go back to your main extracurricular or your main thing, which is the professor with Farshid. Maybe butchered that name wrong, but sorry. But then also showing your resilience. So focus on one thing rather than diversifying. Also, another thing that I realized is that I think you need to like your paragraphs itself, it's really nicely written, but the transitions between the paragraphs, I think need some tweaking. It's very robotic or very choppy, moving from one to another. I'm just giving you a example. So if you see this paragraph, I don't regret a single day of it. I learned perseverance, my strength, and one step closer to my independence. Love it. And then moving on, when we don't change a situation, we must change ourselves. You insert a quote in there. And, for me, I really don't prefer using quotations in essays because of this reason, because it's very hard to transition to a quote unless it plays a huge part of your essay, which I don't think it does. The quote it's just there to help support your entire theme, which is nice. But I would say once again, quality over quantity. I think you should delete a quote, save some words, and focus, re-emphasize or rebuild, restate your exemplar or your entire theme about fueling your motivation and resilience despite the challenges that you have, faced throughout life. And I think that's the main idea that you should focus on. Okay.